Are you or someone you care about over 50 and feeling like your sexual health just isn't what it used to be? Maybe you've noticed things aren't quite the same down there and you're starting to feel frustrated or a little embarrassed. You might be thinking, am I just getting old? Is this it? Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, and this isn't the end of the road for you. In fact, it could be just the beginning of something better. Stay with me, because what we're about to talk about could make a huge difference in how you feel about yourself and your life from here on out. Now, here's the thing. We all know that sexual health isn't just about physical pleasure. It touches almost every part of our lives. How you feel about yourself, your confidence, your relationships, your overall sense of well-being, it's all connected. When things start to slip, it doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind, your heart, and even how you interact with your partner. And I get it. It can be tough to talk about, but it's something that matters. We're talking about your dignity, your sense of self, and your happiness. So, it's important that we don't just ignore the signs of aging when it comes to sexual health. We need to understand what's going on and how we can take control before it's too late. In this video, we're going to break down the key factors that might be affecting your sexual performance as you age, and more importantly, we'll dive into some practical steps you can take right now to start improving things. This isn't just about getting by, it's about making sure you can feel confident, comfortable, and empowered in your own body. So, stick with me because by the end, you'll have a better understanding of what's going on and how to take action before things get worse. Now, if you're ready to dive deeper into this and learn more about how to take control of your sexual health in your golden years, go ahead and drop a comment below. Let me know if you've been noticing any changes and if you're ready to take that next step. And don't forget to subscribe. Dr. Grace Bennett here at SeniorCare Urology is all about giving you the insights and the tools you need to feel your best at any age. But before we go any further, let me ask you, how often do we ignore the small signs, thinking they're just part of getting older? Maybe you've brushed it off before, but trust me, once you see these signs for what they really are, you'll understand why acting now could save you years of frustration. Stick around to find out what to look for and how you can change things today. Key sign 1. Reduced libido. Imagine this. A man in his early 50s, once full of energy and desire, starts noticing that things just aren't the same in his sex life. He used to crave intimacy, feeling that rush of attraction, that spark when he was with his partner. But now he's indifferent. His libido, once so strong, has faded into the background. At first, he brushes it off as part of getting older. After all, doesn't everyone slow down as they age? But over time, this lack of desire starts to weigh on him. It begins to affect his relationship, his confidence, and his happiness. And he's left wondering, is this normal? Or am I just broken? This isn't something to ignore, especially when it's impacting how you feel about yourself. Now, let's pause for a second and think about something important. You're not alone if you're feeling this way. This is a reality many men face after 50, but it's not something that should just be accepted. And it's certainly not the end of the road. Let me tell you why. As men age, there's a natural decline in testosterone levels. This is completely normal, but here's the kicker. When testosterone drops, it's not just about a slight decrease in muscle mass or energy levels. It also affects your libido. The hormone that once fueled your desire now isn't as abundant. But here's where it gets interesting. The good news is, this doesn't mean you have to throw in the towel and give up on an active sex life. Your body can adapt, and there are plenty of ways to maintain or even boost your sexual vitality as you get older. Think of your libido like a muscle. Just like how you exercise your body to keep it in shape, your sexual health can also be improved and maintained. Regular physical activity, a balanced diet, and even medical treatments can keep your libido alive and well. So, while your testosterone naturally declines, there are ways to manage that decline and even counteract it if you're proactive. But I get it, sometimes it feels like it's just all downhill. Is this what getting older looks like? You might ask. That's exactly the question I'm here to help you answer. Because, trust me, this isn't the end, it's just a chapter. There's so much more you can do. One of the biggest misconceptions is that a drop in libido is just a normal part of aging. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. It's just natural. You're getting older. But here's the thing, while a decrease in libido is common, it's not always inevitable. More importantly, it can also be a sign of something more serious, like erectile dysfunction or even heart disease. Sometimes, the body's inability to perform sexually is a red flag, signaling that something deeper might be going on. So, if you're noticing this change in yourself, it's crucial to listen to your body and consider other possible causes. You see, libido isn't just about sex, it's about your overall health. And that's where it gets really important to not just accept these changes as normal. What might seem like a minor decline in sexual desire could actually be a signal that something else is going on. So, let's dive deeper into that. Here's the silver lining. There are things you can do. First off, lifestyle changes can make a world of difference. Maintaining a healthy diet, especially one rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and vitamins, helps keep your body, including your sexual health, in good shape. And don't underestimate the power of regular exercise. Not only does it help with blood flow, but it also boosts your energy and releases endorphins, which will naturally lift your mood and improve your desire. Now, if you're looking for more specific solutions, hormone replacement therapy might be something worth considering. By replenishing your testosterone levels, it's possible to reignite that spark. But don't worry, you don't have to go down that road alone. A visit to your doctor or urologist will give you the personalized insight you need. But before we move on, I want to pause here and ask you, do you feel like something might be holding you back, even though you've been trying to stay active and healthy? You're not the only one thinking this way, and that's exactly why we need to dig deeper into the next issue that often follows libido loss, difficulty with arousal. Libido isn't the only thing that can change as you age. Another problem that many men face is the challenge of arousal. And the effects it can have on both your sex life and your self-esteem are often just as difficult to deal with. So, let's dive into that next. It's time to uncover how these changes are connected and what you can do to regain control of your body. Key sign 2, erectile dysfunction. Let's talk about John. He's in his mid-50s, and for as long as he can remember, his sex life was something he could always rely on. But lately, even when he's in the mood and ready to go, things aren't working the way they used to. He's frustrated, confused, and honestly, a little embarrassed. What happened? He thought maybe it was a fluke at first, but it keeps happening. This isn't just about his confidence. It's affecting his relationship too. So, he starts avoiding intimacy, trying to push it out of his mind. But the truth is, this is way more common than most people realize. It's something that many men experience as they get older, and it's called erectile dysfunction, or ED for short. But here's the thing, you're not alone in this. Many men, like John, struggle with ED, but the real problem is that they often don't talk about it. It's not easy to admit that something's not right. But trust me, once you understand what's going on, you can take control, and that's exactly what we're going to dive into. Erectile dysfunction happens when blood flow to the penis becomes inadequate. Now, this can happen for a variety of reasons, and it's not just something that happens to men in their 60s or 70s. It can start much earlier. The root cause is usually a combination of aging, high blood pressure, diabetes, and even lifestyle choices. For example, if you've been living with high blood pressure or you've been smoking for years, those things can damage your blood vessels over time, making it harder for blood to flow freely when you need it most. And since good blood flow is essential for achieving and maintaining an erection, when that blood flow gets restricted, the result is ED. Now, don't get me wrong, ED is not just something that shows up overnight. It's often a gradual process. You might notice that it's happening more frequently, or that it's taking longer to get in the mood. And that slow creep can be really frustrating. But let me tell you something. It doesn't mean it's the end of your sexual life. There are options, there are solutions, and there are things you can do right now to turn this around. Let's stop right there for a second. You've probably thought, I'm just getting older, this is normal, right? That's exactly what many men think. But what if I told you that ED doesn't have to be something you just accept? That's what I want to unpack with you, and I promise, there's hope ahead. One of the biggest misconceptions about ED is that it's something men should just hide. It's often seen as an embarrassing issue, something you don't talk about in public or even with your partner. But here's the reality. ED is actually really common in men over 50, and in fact, it's a natural part of the aging process for a lot of people. The problem is, society tends to treat it like some sort of shameful secret, which only makes it harder for men to seek help when they need it most. Here's the thing, if you're experiencing ED, it doesn't mean you're less of a man. It just means that your body is going through some changes, and you need to address them. The more you understand about this, the less power it will have over you. And I can promise you, there's no reason to be ashamed of it. What matters is that you're taking steps to make things better. Now, I know this might still feel uncomfortable to talk about, but the truth is, if you can start to see ED as a challenge you can overcome, you'll already be ahead of the game. So let's take a closer look at the solutions that are out there, because there are plenty of ways to fight back. So, what can you do about it? First, let's talk about treatments. One of the most common and effective options is medication, like Viagra. It works by helping to relax the blood vessels and increase blood flow to the penis, which helps you achieve and maintain an erection when you're aroused. But here's the thing, medication isn't the only option, and it's not always the best one for everyone. If you're looking for a more natural approach, one of the best things you can do is start exercising. Regular exercise helps improve blood flow throughout your body, which is exactly what you need for better sexual health. Pelvic floor exercises, specifically, can help strengthen the muscles involved in erections. And don't forget about your diet. Eating nutrient-rich foods that support vascular health can make a huge difference. You don't have to rely solely on pills. There are lifestyle changes you can make that will not only improve your sexual performance, but also enhance your overall well-being. And that's what I want you to focus on, treating your body well, inside and out. That's the path to regaining control. But let me ask you this, have you been avoiding these solutions? Maybe you've been putting off making these changes, thinking it will just get better on its own? I get it, it's easy to fall into that trap. But let's not let ED control your life. It's time to take action. Now, let's talk about something that's often a byproduct of dealing with erectile dysfunction, the emotional toll it can take. You might not realize it, but your sexual performance isn't just about the physical act. It can seriously affect how you feel emotionally. It can shake your confidence, make you feel disconnected from your partner, and even cause feelings of isolation or frustration. So, let's break down how ED affects your emotional well-being and what you can do to address it. Key sign 3. Emotional and psychological impact. Let's take a moment to talk about George. George is in his late 50s, and for a long time, he had no issues with his sex life. But over the last year, something changed. He found himself avoiding intimacy with his wife, not because he didn't love her, but because he didn't feel confident. He thought it was just part of getting older. He told himself, everyone goes through this, right? It's just a phase. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The more he avoided intimacy, the more insecure he felt. He started to believe that maybe he wasn't enough for her anymore. And here's where things get real. This isn't just a physical issue. It's an emotional one too. Now, you might be thinking, is it really just about getting older? And you're not the only one who's had that thought. But here's the truth. What George is experiencing is much more common than you think, and it's often tied to something deeper than just physical changes. Let's explore that. Did you know that mental health plays a huge role in sexual performance? It's not just your body that's affecting your libido or ability to perform, it's your mind too. Feelings of stress, anxiety, and depression can dramatically reduce your libido and even contribute to erectile dysfunction. When your mind is clouded with negative thoughts or worries, your body responds accordingly. Stress can disrupt hormone levels and increase blood pressure, both of which are linked to sexual performance. Anxiety can make it harder to relax during intimate moments, and depression can lead to a complete disinterest in sex. Your emotional state and mental health are just as important as your physical health when it comes to sexual performance. But here's the kicker. Many men overlook the psychological aspect of this problem. They focus only on what's happening physically, when in reality, emotional well-being is just as crucial. This is where we can make real progress in improving your sex life, by addressing the mental side of things. Does this sound familiar? Do you find that stress, anxiety, or maybe even sadness are starting to affect how you feel about sex? It's important to understand that this is more than just a phase. It's your mental health talking. And the good news is you can do something about it. One of the biggest misconceptions is that sexual performance issues are all about the physical side of things. People assume that if you're struggling sexually, it's just about hormones or your body not working as well as it used to. But emotional health plays an even bigger role than most people realize. When it comes to sexual health, your mind and your body work together. If you're dealing with stress, low mood, or anxiety, it can make it harder to perform sexually. So, addressing these emotional issues can drastically improve your sexual function. Many men feel embarrassed to admit that their emotions are affecting their sex lives. It's almost like there's a stigma around acknowledging the emotional side of aging. But here's the truth, you're not alone in this. And the sooner you recognize how emotional well-being is connected to sexual health, the sooner you can start making the changes that will benefit both your mind and your body. I know this might feel a little overwhelming, especially if you've been pushing your feelings aside. But it's time to address the elephant in the room. Your emotional health is just as important as your physical health. And when you start working on both, you'll see the improvements you're hoping for. So, what can you do about this? The first step is seeking therapy. Talking to a professional about your emotional struggles can help you process your feelings and give you tools to manage anxiety, depression, and stress. Therapy doesn't just help with your emotions, it also helps with regaining confidence in the bedroom. Many men who experience ED or lack of libido also struggle with self-esteem. Therapy can help you rebuild that sense of self-worth. Communication with your partner is another key part of this. Sometimes, the hardest part is being open with your spouse or partner about what you're going through. But honest conversations about your feelings, your worries, and your insecurities can bring you closer together. Your partner is likely feeling the strain, too, and talking it through can help relieve some of the pressure. Another great tool is stress reduction techniques like yoga or meditation. These practices don't just calm the mind, they can actually improve sexual function by reducing stress and increasing blood flow. Regular practice of mindfulness techniques can help you feel more present during intimate moments and reduce the anxiety that might be hindering your performance. Do you feel like your stress or emotions might be holding you back in the bedroom? Taking action to improve your mental health can unlock the door to a better sex life. It's all about breaking through that mental barrier and reclaiming your confidence. Now that we've explored the emotional and psychological side, let's take a look at another factor that might be sabotaging your sexual health, your lifestyle choices. You might not realize it, but the things you do every day could be contributing to these issues without you even knowing. So, let's dive into the lifestyle changes that could make all the difference. Key sign 4, lifestyle and habits. Let's talk about Tom. Tom was always the life of the party. He enjoyed a good glass of wine, and on weekends, you'd often find him relaxing with a beer or two after work. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. In fact, it made him feel relaxed, and he was able to unwind after a long day. But over time, something started to change. His alcohol consumption began to increase, and so did the issues he faced in the bedroom. He found it harder to get aroused, and when he did, it wasn't as satisfying. His sexual performance started to decline, and it left him frustrated. He couldn't connect the dots at first. After all, he'd been drinking for years, but then he realized that the very habits he thought were helping him relax were actually the ones contributing to his struggles. Does this sound familiar? It might seem harmless to enjoy a drink after work, but when it becomes a regular part of your routine, it can sneak up on you. Alcohol, smoking, and even poor diet choices can seriously affect your sexual health, and the worst part is, many men don't even realize it until it's too late. Here's what happens. Alcohol is a depressant, which means it slows down your nervous system. When you drink too much, it can interfere with the body's ability to get and maintain an erection. But it's not just about alcohol. Smoking has a similar effect. The nicotine in cigarettes damages blood vessels, which affects circulation throughout the body, including to the penis. This leads to difficulties in getting or maintaining an erection, and over time, it can become a serious issue. Poor diet also plays a role in this. When you're not eating foods that nourish your body, it impacts everything from hormone levels to blood flow. A diet that's high in processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats can lead to weight gain, high cholesterol, and poor cardiovascular health, all of which can have a direct impact on your sexual performance. So, while it might feel like a harmless habit or indulgence, the truth is, these lifestyle choices are slowly eating away at your ability to perform sexually. But here's the good news. Once you understand how your lifestyle is impacting your sexual health, you can take action. And believe me, it's never too late to make changes. In fact, small adjustments can lead to big improvements. Many men believe that alcohol and smoking aren't a big deal, that they're just part of life. They might think, it's not like I'm an alcoholic, or I've been smoking for years, and I'm fine. But here's the hard truth. These habits do affect your body, especially as you get older. What you've been able to get away with in your younger years starts catching up with you. And when it comes to sexual health, the impact can be devastating. If you're serious about maintaining your vitality as you age, you can't afford to ignore these lifestyle choices any longer. You might also think that cutting back on drinking or quitting smoking won't make much of a difference, but I'm here to tell you that it will. The body is resilient, and with the right changes, you can give it the support it needs to perform at its best, even as you get older. Now, I know it can be hard to hear that the things you enjoy might be standing in the way of your health, but trust me, making changes in these areas is one of the best things you can do for your future self. Imagine feeling more energized, more confident, and yes, more satisfied in the bedroom. So, what can you do? Well, the first step is cutting down on alcohol. That doesn't mean you have to quit completely, but reducing your intake can make a world of difference. The goal is moderation. When you cut back, you'll notice not just improvements in your sexual performance, but your overall well-being will improve too. Next, if you're a smoker, it's time to seriously think about quitting. I know it's not easy, it's a tough habit to break, but there are so many resources available to help you. From nicotine patches to counseling to support groups, there's no shortage of ways to get the help you need. Your body will thank you. By quitting smoking, you're improving circulation, reducing inflammation, and giving your body the opportunity to heal itself. Lastly, let's talk about your diet. A balanced diet rich in antioxidants, healthy fats, and plenty of vegetables can drastically improve your sexual health. Focus on heart-healthy foods, things like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and fatty fish like salmon. These foods support better blood flow, which is essential for sexual function. And don't forget to stay hydrated. Dehydration can affect your energy levels and overall performance. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight, but making small, intentional changes can lead to major improvements. And trust me, once you start seeing the results, you'll be motivated to keep going. Just imagine the impact these changes can have on your life, not just in the bedroom, but in how you feel every day. Now, we can't forget about something else that comes with getting older: the physical changes that naturally occur in your body. These changes are inevitable, but they don't have to be limiting. Let's take a closer look at what happens physically as we age and how you can adapt to ensure you're still living life to the fullest. Key sign 5: decreased sensitivity and physical changes. Let me tell you about Mark. Mark had always been in great shape. He worked out regularly, stayed active, and felt confident in his body. But one day, something strange happened. During sex, he noticed that he didn't feel the same sensation. He was still able to perform, but the physical pleasure just wasn't there. At first, he thought it was a fluke. Maybe he was just tired or distracted. But as time went on, the feeling didn't return. The sensitivity in his body had changed, and it left him feeling confused and frustrated. He started to wonder, is this it? Is this just part of getting older? Well, Mark's experience is more common than you might think, and it's not something that has to be accepted. Let me explain why. You see, as we get older, things change inside and out. And while it can be tough to accept, there are ways to manage these physical changes. It's important to understand that what Mark is experiencing doesn't have to be the end of his sexual life. It's just a new challenge. And that's something we can work with. As we age, one of the changes that often happens is a decrease in nerve sensitivity. This is completely normal. The nerve endings that once responded quickly to stimuli start to lose some of their sensitivity. Combine that with a drop in testosterone levels, and it's no wonder that physical pleasure can start to feel a little off. Testosterone plays a key role in arousal and sexual function, and when those levels dip, it impacts everything from mood to sensitivity. But here's the thing, just because these changes are happening doesn't mean they're permanent. It also doesn't mean you have to settle for a sex life that's less satisfying. I know this can feel like a huge blow to your confidence. It's easy to think that because things don't feel the same, they'll never feel good again. But that's just not the case. Let me tell you how you can regain that sensation and feel like yourself again. There's a big misconception out there that aging automatically means a less satisfying sex life. People assume that as they get older, they have to accept lower sensitivity and less pleasure. But that's simply not true. There are treatments and solutions available that can help restore that sensation. And I don't just mean quick fixes. We're talking about real, sustainable ways to address these physical changes, so you don't feel like you're losing out on something important. You don't have to give in to the idea that age equals less pleasure. You might think, well, it's just how things are now. I guess I'll have to live with it. But here's the thing, if you're proactive about it, you can still enjoy fulfilling, pleasurable experiences as you age. Let's dig into how. Are you starting to see the bigger picture here? Aging doesn't mean surrendering to less satisfying intimacy. It just means we have to adjust our approach. And the good news is, those adjustments can lead to even better experiences than before. So, what can you do about this decrease in sensitivity? Well, first, let's talk about exploring different sexual positions. Sometimes, changing up how you approach intimacy can help you regain that lost sensation. Certain positions might give you more stimulation, which can enhance the experience. Don't be afraid to get creative. A little experimentation can go a long way in rekindling that spark. Next, using lubricants can make a significant difference. As men age, the body's natural lubrication can decrease, which can lead to less sensation. Using a good lubricant can help reduce friction and increase pleasure. It's a simple step, but it can make a world of difference in how you feel. Now, if you're still struggling with decreased sensitivity, it might be time to have a conversation with a urologist. There are treatments available that can help restore nerve sensitivity. Some options include medications, injections, or even procedures like shockwave therapy, which has shown promise in stimulating blood flow and nerve regeneration. These treatments are designed to give you back what you might be missing and more. I know it's not always easy to talk about these things, but taking action is key. You don't have to accept less sensation in your sex life just because you're getting older. There are solutions out there, and they're waiting for you. Now that we've covered the main issues, libido loss, erectile dysfunction, emotional struggles, and physical changes, let's focus on how you can take action to improve your sexual health. It's one thing to know what's going on, but it's another thing to actually make changes that will improve how you feel, both physically and emotionally. So, let's dive into the steps you can take right now to reclaim your vitality. Facing these changes in your body, your sexual health, and your overall well-being can be incredibly difficult. It's easy to feel frustrated, confused, or even defeated when you start noticing that things aren't working the way they used to. For many men, aging brings feelings of loss, whether it's the loss of vitality, energy, or even the confidence you once had in your body. But here's the most important thing to remember. Recognizing these signs early on gives you the power to make proactive choices. You don't have to sit back and just accept these changes. You can take action now. And in doing so, you're already on your way to regaining control. Let's pause for a moment and really think about this. Feeling frustrated or helpless is normal. But instead of letting that frustration define you, let it drive you. Because the sooner you act, the sooner you'll start feeling better physically and emotionally. The changes happening in your body, they're just part of the journey. And the best part? You still have so much control over how this chapter unfolds. It's time to shift your mindset. Rather than feeling like these changes are something to fear or fight, think of them as a call to action. Aging doesn't mean your sexual health has to decline. It simply means that you have to be proactive and make informed decisions. Instead of resigning yourself to frustration, consider this. There are steps you can take to preserve and even enhance your sexual health at any age. It's not about battling aging. It's about working with your body to make the most of the years ahead. Yes, some things will change, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy a fulfilling and satisfying sex life. You just need to embrace the changes, learn from them, and take action. Think about it. You don't have to feel like you're losing anything. You're gaining the opportunity to take charge of your health and improve your quality of life. The knowledge you're gaining right now gives you the power to take control, and that's a huge advantage. Look, if you've noticed any of these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't just sit back and wait for things to improve on their own. Take action now. The longer you wait, the harder it can become to reverse certain issues. Schedule a visit with a urologist like Dr. Grace Bennett, someone who can give you a tailored plan to address your specific needs. Whether it's through treatments, lifestyle changes, or a combination of both, getting the right help now is the best way to preserve your sexual health in the years to come. It's not about waiting for things to get worse. It's about being proactive and setting yourself up for success. Whether it's a simple diet change, regular exercise, or exploring more medical solutions, taking that first step toward care and attention can make all the difference. You've already taken the first step by watching this video. That's the hard part, acknowledging that something needs to change. Now it's time to act. If you've noticed these signs, don't wait any longer. The sooner you take action, the sooner you can start feeling better. Here's the most important message I want you to walk away with today. Age doesn't have to limit your sexual health. Yes, you'll experience changes. But with the right knowledge, care, and action, your best years could still be ahead of you. Don't let age be something that holds you back. Let it be something that empowers you. The more informed and prepared you are, the more control you'll have over your health. You can still enjoy an active, fulfilling sex life at any age. And with a little effort, it might even be better than before. So, don't lose hope. You have everything you need to make the most of the years ahead. Remember, it's not about letting age define you. It's about defining how you live as you age. You have the power to make the changes that will give you the best quality of life possible. And it starts right now. Now that we've covered the key signs and solutions, let's focus on the next step: how to implement these changes. In the next video, we'll walk you through a comprehensive action plan, everything from exercise routines to diet tips and the right treatments to improve your sexual health. You don't want to miss it, because this is where the real transformation begins. Let's take a moment to recap everything we've covered today. We've discussed 5 key signs that you should never ignore when it comes to your sexual health as you age. First, we talked about reduced libido, how a drop in sexual desire could signal more than just aging, and how important it is to pay attention to it. Then we moved on to erectile dysfunction, understanding how blood flow, stress, and even lifestyle habits contribute to this issue. We also explored the emotional and psychological impact that sexual performance changes can have on your confidence, relationships, and overall well-being, something many men overlook. We discussed how lifestyle habits, like alcohol consumption and smoking, can be sabotaging your sexual health, and how small changes can make a huge difference. And finally, we covered decreased sensitivity, where a loss of physical pleasure is often a sign of reduced nerve function or testosterone levels. But remember, this isn't the end of your sexual vitality. These 5 signs are critical, and ignoring them won't help you move forward. Instead of letting these issues control your life, take action now. There are so many things you can do to improve your health, your relationships, and your sense of well-being. By recognizing these changes early, you've already taken the first step toward making a positive change. I want to hear from you. Have you noticed any of these signs in yourself or someone you care about? What steps have you taken, or what questions do you have about how to address these issues? Drop a comment below and let's start a conversation. There's no shame in facing these challenges, and the more we talk about them, the more we can help each other. Your experiences could be the key to helping someone else take that first step toward reclaiming their vitality. Let's get this conversation going. I know a lot of men and their families are dealing with similar struggles. By sharing your story or your questions, you're taking part in a bigger conversation, one that can help others take control of their sexual health. Remember, you're not alone in this. If you found this video helpful and want to continue learning more about how to maintain your health as you age, please consider subscribing to the channel. Dr. Grace Bennett and the team at SeniorCare Urology are committed to bringing you insights on living well in your later years. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who could benefit from this information. You've already made it this far, so why not continue your journey of learning and improvement? There's always more to discover, and I'm here to guide you through it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this video gave you some valuable insights and inspiration to take action. Stay strong, stay proactive, and remember, your best years could still be ahead of you. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll break down practical steps to take control of your sexual health and start feeling like yourself again.